Hello, welcome to the ninth episode of my podcast. Very happy to have you on. Feel free to
Thank you.
introduce yourself and how you got in. Feel free to get into how you got into airsoft.
For sure. My name's Jeff, or I go by call sign Kfactor. Got into airsoft kind of just playing the old school Call of Duty games and wanted to get out of the backyard and go play. And we all started with the Walmart clear one shooting the 10 gram airsoft BBs. I've been playing since 2008 and I haven't looked back and just really into ghillie airsoft sniping and sneaky gameplay.
Oh, excellent. So you started in 2008.
I did.
Um, so out of curiosity, at that time frame, I would imagine that it's nowhere near what it is today on
No
variety
way.
and configuration and stuff like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've seen it change multiple times and it's been really cool to see the technology grow and getting other people into the sport, especially the younger players.
Oh yeah.
I'm considered an elder out there playing nowadays, but I still enjoy it very much and don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
Oh, excellent. A good deal. I'll give a very brief description of my background. Of course, I've said this in every episode, so I try to keep it short because I think I got into a very long conversation about it on episode one. So I don't want to
Oh,
keep
good.
boring people with the same material over and over and over. But I'll keep it short. My background with airsoft is that I started back in 2003. I wasn't in for it for too long, maybe just a few years. This is back during the high school years of my
Mm.
existence. And the same thing what you're describing, backyard stuff. Nothing too serious, just goofing off with friends. Um, Only stayed into it until 2006, 2007. And then at that time, I've already graduated from high school and I started focusing my career. And that's when I stopped and got out of the hobby.
Gotcha.
And then obviously 15, 17 years later, early 2024, I got back into it. And how I got back into it is kind of a funny story. Of course, I explained this in a previous episode, so I won't get into deep dive into it. But basically, what ended up happening was that I had surgery in my foot, and I needed to do exercising and keep using the foot, so I can have a more smoother recovery. And one
Gotcha.
of the things they recommended was basically go exercise, go outside, and all that stuff. And of course, I don't want to do that. I mean, to me, I'm just, especially my age, I'm getting kind of lazy. So,
I hear you. I hear
so
you.
a colleague of mine told me that, hey, I notice you're complaining about your recovery not going as smooth. Why not you do something that you kind of enjoy and try to see if you can get back, get into it and see what happens. And so, we enjoy conversations and weapons, firearms and stuff like that. So he recommended, well, how about you get into airsoft? And I told him, what, you serious? And he's like, give it a try because, you
Perfect.
control your playing style, how you put pressure or how much you push your foot. You control all of that. And
Yes.
plus, it has to do with firearms, even though it's toys mostly.
Right. Right.
So, you'll be able to utilize that hobby and see where it goes. So I did. And first two games, I was kind of like, I'm not going to get into this. But, after a few times, I got hooked. And the beginning of 2024, started playing airsoft quite consistently. And of course, I'm also into video editing. I used to be
Yes.
pretty good at it years ago. So I merged two separate side hobbies into one. And
Yes.
that's how my channel got started. So,
Perfect.
if you want to blame someone, I would, if you know Spaz, I would
I do
blame that
often.
guy.
Right.
No, yeah, he's the one that helped me get me hooked into the hobby. So if it wasn't for him, I mean, all this wouldn't exist. So, like I said, if you want someone to blame, he would be the guy.
You'd be the
And
guy.
yes, sir. Yeah. So anyway, that's all that ended up happening. And of course, since you started in 2008, I would assume it's roughly the same type of exposure I had. So, for example, back in those days, what I remember was that metal airsoft weapons wasn't a thing. I remember everything
No.
being plastic.
Hmm.
And I do remember the term hip hop, or not hip. Why did I say that? Hop
Yeah, I
ons.
get you though. I know what you meant.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, brain fart. But I did hear the term, but at that time it was integrated and it sucked. So
Right.
it was like whatever. But
Not much
today,
help.
oh my gosh, when I got back into it in 2024, oh, you can imagine. leaving at 2007, getting back into it in
Right.
2024, you can imagine how much my world changed. There was a lot of
Oh,
fresh ups
absolutely.
and refresh information I had to basically catch up on, and it's drastically different. So,
Absolutely. I
and
agree with you 100%.
yeah. So when you got into it, I mean, at one point, did you transition from like backyard stuff into ghillies and sniper roles and stuff like that? At one point, did it actually get kind of serious for you?
I would say closer to 2010 or 2010, when my first real airsoft replica gun, I should say, was a SEMA AK. So
AKs.
the AK was an AK, and I wanted to snipe, but I didn't really hear about the bolt action still a little bit later on. And so I bought a scope and suppressor, and then I bought, the cheap ghillie suits you get at like an Army Navy store. They're basically just a bunch of string wadded up on a suit, which it worked okay. Didn't looking back, it was like these didn't work. And then it slowly started progressing, getting better and better and better, and then ran across a couple of YouTube videos, and that was it for me. Found out about bolt actions, and the rest is history. And then getting into the whole filming it and putting things on YouTube, I started putting some videos in 2010 towards the end, but you couldn't see what I was shooting at. And then that went down a giant rabbit hole of how I could investigate and get people seeing what I'm shooting at. Because at the time, there was no such thing as a scope cam. It didn't exist. That was not something that was relatively available. We had GoPros, but they were, I don't know if you remember the old school GoPros, like
Yeah,
the Hero 2s. They weren't very good. They were loud, they were clunky, and the audio from them and the battery life just wasn't there. And that in itself, the whole filming aspect has gotten even better as we've gone on.
drastically. Yeah, I
For
remember the
sure.
GoPros, the early ones. I
Yeah.
certainly, I even had one. So they
Mhm.
didn't have video stabilization. Batteries sucked. If I remember correctly, back in those days, batteries were integrated. They weren't, external Xing out, of what I recall. Um,
Correct.
so, and not just that, even today with the newer versions, you can actually take my gosh, another brain fart. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Um, the cam, um, oh my gosh.
Internal battery.
No, not that. There's the cam lens itself. There you
Oh
go.
yeah,
The
yeah,
lens.
yeah.
Yeah.
The lens. Yep.
Yeah. You could take it off today, but back then you
Mhm.
couldn't. So if
No,
someone shot your GoPro, you're kind of screwed.
you're toast.
So
Yep. You're out of
yeah,
luck.
yeah, exactly. So, drastically different. And even with that, so it's drastically better today. And I think, with their latest generations, I mean, 10, 11, 12, it looked like to me that they were intentionally designing it for more of airsofters, in my personal opinion.
Right.
Because, I mean, especially when you can actually now replace the cam lens. I
Hmm.
thought that was like, if only they had that 10 years ago,
Right.
right?
100%.
So,
Or the scope cams. So I started, so scope cameras, especially when it comes to filming airsoft as a sniper, Vavan56, really old school YouTuber, was the first one to film airsoft using a scope camera, quote unquote. What it was is an old Sony handheld that he reversed the scope mounts on and put it on and zoomed it in and then made a cover for it. So he had basically a camera the size of his scope on top, and then you put the overlay in, and then you'd have the head cam and the selfie cam. And that's basically every YouTuber setup today. But I myself, Novrich, him, and Budge Up Airsoft were the only guys filming sniper videos. And I think I've been doing it actually longer than Novrich, if memory serves me right.
yeah.
And the cameras, I'm telling you, they were as big as a monster can. They were very bulky. They were hard to film. And I do not miss those days. I'm grateful that I was able to figure it out, but I do not miss filming with that big, giant, clunky camera on top.
I can
Um,
imagine that'd be like kind of more easier to identify you.
oh, we had
So,
to make a cover with paper mache and then buy plexiglass and make lens covers because if it did get shot out, you were out $500.
yeah, yeah.
So you had to get really clever on how you'd film it and how you could protect that camera because people aren't going to care if they shoot your camera out.
No, I would
Uh,
imagine so. Even if they're
no,
intentionally trying to ruin you, I think that would be the first thing they would target. So,
100%.
yeah. Oh, very cool.
No.
Man, I trying to imagine that because like a big giant bulky thing and my
Hmm.
gosh. But I'm glad they're about roughly this size, aren't they? Now,
They're
these
not they're
days?
not they're not bit bad.
They're not
They're
big,
they're not very
roughly.
big. Yeah, I would show you mine, but I gave my older one to a friend. I got a new scope camera coming on the way, but they're not very big at all. You
Okay.
hardly even notice them if nowadays it's a one push forward to record, one push button to stop recording, and that's it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And then you
So,
just interlay the overlay on top.
so what do you recommend as a scope cam these days?
Run cam, scope cam 2, 4K. It's got a 4 hour battery life. It's got a shatterproof lens on the front. And if you need to plug in an external battery, it'll last you a long time. But that's what I would recommend. It's also got a full metal body frame.
Nice.
There's a
And
lot
with
of
those
different
lenses,
options.
and with
Yeah,
those lenses, you can take it off and replace it with another one just in case it gets damaged with a
you
BB.
can. You
Yeah.
can. You can also choose if you want a shorter lens or further out zoom lens. So I think 40 mm is for the sniper, and then they have a 25 mm option for like CQB and close.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know because I'm interested in something like that. I'm not sure if you've seen my YouTube channel, but a lot of what
I
I have
have
is close quarter combat,
for sure.
and I want to change that. I even was speaking to Mr. Grinch because I want to get into ghillie and sniper role or even
Absolutely.
DMR, but
Right.
it's just unfortunately there's a couple of factors. One, because like I'm married, so therefore anything I
I get it.
do, it has to have an act of Congress for approval. So,
I
so
get
this
that.
includes financial as well on anything. So it's a little bit more difficult for me to get toys, but the toys I do have, even though I don't have much, they're fully upgraded. So I
Right.
have to look at it that way. I mean, even though I don't have much, at least what I have is advanced. So
For sure.
I
No,
just need to
100%.
get it piece by piece, and hopefully, maybe later in 2025, I might be able to get a scope cam, but we'll see.
For sure. I get that. I'm married, have two kids myself.
Oh, excellent. How
Uh,
how old are your children?
I got a 4-year-old and a 10-year-old.
We're in 10. I got a four myself.
There you go.
So yeah.
So I
So
get it.
it's
Dad softer life. I totally understand.
yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, for the audience here, those are not married, but when you have children, it changes your life. I mean,
It does.
even for the better.
It
So,
is. It does for the
when you
better.
start seeing your children grow, and especially in the younger years, like 2, 3, 4, it's just
Oh yeah.
priceless. Try to spend as much time as you can with them while you still
Abs
have the chance.
Absolutely. My 10-year-old's starting to get into airsoft. He's been to a couple games with me, smaller games.
Oh, excellent.
He wants to go with the bigger mill sims, but I'm like, hey buddy, pump the brakes. Gotta wait a little bit longer, but he's getting into it, and my youngest is chomping at the bit. He wants to play too. Um,
Nice. Oh,
but
very
yeah,
cool.
they're very aware of what dad does on the weekend when I get to go out and play.
Oh yeah, especially when they see your background right here.
Oh
I
yeah,
can see how they'd be motivated. Because if I
yeah,
saw that, I'll be like, I want to do that.
absolutely.
So
So it's been fun to watch.
yeah, not very cool. Cross my fingers. I'm hoping in the future my young one will see interest in it. But if she doesn't, it's okay.
For sure.
But it'd be cool if I ended up getting sniped out by my own child.
Oh,
That would be
absolutely.
awesome. So
Absolutely. That's the goal. That's the goal.
yeah, exactly. All right, well, cool. Well, if it's cool with you, I'd like to go ahead and share some of your content on your YouTube channel if you're
Yeah,
up
that'd
to
be
it.
great. Absolutely, please.
All right, awesome. I'll share my screen here momentarily.
No worries. There we go.
Excellent. There's a video in particular that caught my attention, and believe, yeah, I believe it was this one right here. So
Yes.
Karen tries. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this one rolling.
Okay.
So we'll start over here. This is a pretty good one. Were you able to hear the audio?
Yes, I was able to hear it. Yep.
All right, awesome. So let's go ahead and play this. And then while we're playing it, feel free to jump in to describe what's happening or even describe the Karen event, because
For
I'm sure
sure.
there's a huge backstory on that.
Yeah, so when this rolls here, we basically were getting set up to play. And we had a lady who wanted to walk her dogs on the trail that goes behind the field, which the public's not in any danger unless someone's like pointing up this way. Field's been there for multiple years, and she was like, I want to walk my dogs through the field. We're like, well, one of our guys said, oh, you can. We're just going to play a quick game and then we're done. We'll let you know when everyone's off the field and feel free. It's public land, so we were allowed to be there. And then she never came back. She actually took off, which I didn't see this. And then a few seconds later, we had an officer come down and talk to us saying that mean airsofters yelled at her and pointed our replicas at her and told her to leave and all this stuff, which was totally not true.
Did you have video footage of the entire event?
I filmed just when we came onto the thing. I didn't really see the interaction with the lady in the car. But I know the guy who talked to her personally, and there's no way he would say that to her. He's a dad himself. And memory served me right. He didn't even have his kit on to begin with when he talked to her. So she was just mad that we were there before she was. And it's kind of a richy, snobby area. And they just don't like to see anything that's, they don't like to see people having fun, if I'm being honest. And the officer that came and talked to me, super professional, super great. He was mad. It was a total waste of his time, and you can hear that in his voice.
Yeah,
He's
this is
just
the
over
officer
it.
right here.
Correct. Yeah. And
So,
yeah, go ahead.
no, 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 go ahead, continue.
He was just like, hey, I had to come down here and talk to you guys. I'm fine that you guys are playing down here. Put a sign out, which we did. Never had an issue. This is the first time I've ever had an officer come up and be like, someone is mad that you're playing here in the multiple years that we've been playing at Hobble Creek. So,
So you've been playing there for a while
yes,
now. So you're not able to go back to that field going forward?
not anymore. They called so many times to the Forest Service that the Forest Service shut it down. Um, and they were saying that we built man-made structures, which was not true. We didn't, us as an airsoft community never built anything. There's a group of paintballers that put up stuff, but it was all wood and trees that had fallen that they stacked into bunkers. So any of the trash or any of the stuff was not left by our group or anyone that played. And of course, we have the big scary airsoft replicas or firearms, so we got the blame. And they banned us from that field, unfortunately.
Sorry to hear that. It's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, it only takes a couple people to ruin it for people, and luckily we got a field that's upper more away from the general public that we can still play at, but during the winter time it shut down, which is what it is. But sad to see Lower Hobble go. It was a wonderful, fun field to play on.
It certainly looked like it when I was watching the video here. It looked pretty intense scene. A lot of cover and a ghillie suit dream, I would imagine.
Absolutely, especially in the summer. This is kind of towards the end, towards fall here. But summertime, it's a sniper's dream for sure.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and let the audience hear and listen to your video here.
Okay,
It's pretty good stuff. So
thank you.
we'll definitely start from the beginning and get this rolling.
Game mode is domination. But before we can even get started,
Can you hear it
it
just
appears
fine?
that Karen has called the police on
Yep.
us.
Yeah.
Let's go talk to this officer and see what's going on.
Hey, what's up? Hey, ceasefire!
So we're getting a bunch of complaints about you guys down here, which I'm fine with you guys.
Okay. Ceasefire!
The only issue is if people come down here walking with their dogs, they can be down here.
For sure, absolutely.
So if I were
Which
you
we
guys,
told her
I'd
she
put a
could.
sign up or something that says, "Hey,
Oh, say that again?
We told her she could. She's just, again, this lady was just mad that we were there before her or just having a
Yeah.
bad day. I don't know.
Yeah. And just making up stuff just to get you guys in trouble.
Yep.
Airsofting,
we're doing airsoft in the area,"
copy.
because somebody just called in pissed off
Okay.
She tried to walk her dog, talked to somebody, said they were aggressive.
Oh, we haven't seen anyone walk their dog.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
Okay.
and I mean, people up here get in a tiffy
Tiffy.
over the stupidest shit.
For sure. No one's come and talked to us as far as I know.
Oh, at least
The
he's
only
honest.
thing is, if you guys are gonna
Absolutely.
do it, all I ask,
Mhm.
just as a courtesy to them,
For sure.
just put a sign up. Just
Okay.
say, hey, we're airsofting in the area.
Which we
Copy.
did.
Just so somebody doesn't walk in here, because if you shoot somebody with their dog,
Oh, for sure. That's going to be a whole.
After the Karen wasted that officer's time, we put up a sign and we are back to playing. We are allowed to be on this field because it is public property. Someone just got in a tiff that they couldn't play on the field. Now that is over, domination is the game mode. I'm rushing to the top of the hill to use my advantage with my sniper rifle.
Let's go.
My new favorite rifle as of the moment.
Forward area clear.
That's pretty slick. You have the mesh here,
Yeah,
camoed. Yeah, pretty good.
I got ghillied all up. It's even better ghillied up now. Pistol takedowns are probably my favorite.
And you can swap that kill flash. It's completely
Yeah, it's just a
swappable.
screw on cover. Yeah, if it gets too damaged.
The predator effect. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
that's my new favorite thing to do. I'm gonna add that for a while. People seem to enjoy it. Couldn't tell if I hit him, so I didn't put hit markers. Looked like it, but couldn't tell. Guy I hit comes back.
Nice.
He wanted revenge. Don't blame him.
And what type of airsoft handgun do you are utilizing there?
I actually have it next to me. It's the AEP by Norwich, the SSE 18.
Electric version, I recall.
It is, yeah. So you got semi-full. I don't know where my suppressor ended up. It looks like I'll have to find a new one. But I used to run the TM MK23s.
Yeah.
But I kept having so many jamming issues and mag issues that was getting me killed. So I've ran the AEP, and it's nice to have that extra firepower, and it's been more than quite enough, which later on in the
Nice.
video you'll see. And it's just nice to have that extra firepower when you get surrounded, which for me personally, I typically do because I end up lone wolfing half the time, unless I'm with Grinch. But yeah, it's nice to have that extra firepower when you get surrounded.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine for sure.
And if you look at my selfie mount, I forgot my GoPro mount, so I had to duct tape it on.
You don't take it.
Yeah,
As long as it works.
It worked. I'll take that shot. That was a good one. Once you get up on this ridge, it's really hard for the enemies to get to you.
Yeah, because you're on the high ground.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, it's one of my sniper buddies. Ran out of ammo.
Anyone in front? Hey, is there anyone in front of you?
no.
Okay.
Mag check.
Go.
That's where the fun really starts for me. When you get this close to the enemy and they don't know where you are.
And that's the part I love. It's the patience, the tactical positioning. It's pretty cool.
I waited there for 20 minutes, which I'm not going to show in the video. And I'm empty here. I'm just dry firing to keep his head down.
I started hearing him off the tree. Oh, you.
So that was more than just, I knew I was out just shooting to keep his head down. And my favorite thing to do is to talk to enemies now and take them out.
Doing that whistle right before the kill.
Absolutely. Or I'll say something to them like Susie or go back to Captain Price days. Just something funny and get their attention.
Easy, lad. There's too many of them. Let them go.
So what you can't see here, because my selfie cam died, I have guys behind me as well. There's 3 or 4 guys behind me when I make these shots.
Just kind of like firing all over the place.
Yeah, they don't know where I am, which is that's why I like that AEP so much. It's electric, but it's quiet enough where it doesn't make too much noise. And I shoot the same guy 3 times, I think, in this little setting here. Because in this game mode, they can revive each other after like a 10-second medic. And so they come back looking for me. So there's that guy again. I end up shooting him again. And I feel bad, but I did shoot him 3 times in this one setting.
More random shooting.
He doesn't know. And then I shoot him again. So that's what keeps bringing me back to Airsoft is this moment right here. And eventually, my sniper buddy does find me, takes me out. He knows what to look for. There it is.
I finally found it.
There it is.
Yeah.
Nice. Very good gameplay.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. That was a lot of fun to film that and play that day. That was a great time. And that was actually the last Airsoft game at that field. So,
At that field because of the Karen.
because of the Karen. That'll be the last gameplay you'll ever see from that field unless things change. I don't see it happening. So,
Yeah. Well, if it makes you feel better, I experienced a little bit of that, kind of, not exactly the same degree as what you're describing, but
But-
I did a short, how long ago? Maybe 2 months ago, somewhere around there, where how you remove an orange tip. And
oh, that's right. I was listening to that podcast. You're talking about that.
Yeah. that is just
That's
crazy.
crazy. It's crazy. It's
Like
absolutely
a
insane.
dangerous society by removing an orange tip.
Oh man.
And I'm gonna contact my representative. Like, okay.
Oh jeez. Like some
course-
people.
And we're in a state where that could happen, because
Right.
of how the current party and individuals are running the local governments
Government.
here. I mean, so
Right.
yeah, it's just. And again, I'm not trying to be
Insane.
mean or pick on any particular party. It's just
No, but
unfortunately,
I get it.
yeah. So that was something else, and it's funny too because you can actually like if you look at the comments, you'll know where it came from, and then I
Right.
was able to track that back, and then it's like, okay, I know who you are.
Right.
So it's yeah, that was
Someone nothing
something.
with better to do to just kind of stir the hornet's nest for no reason.
Yeah.
How dare you have fun?
Well, doing something that's not illegal to begin with. So it's
No,
like,
not at all.
but anyway, I feel your pain. So
For
it's
sure.
I'm sorry that you went through that, and hopefully in the future, especially since you have it sounds like you have more of an established location. Hopefully that turns out better in the long term.
For sure. In Utah, we have a couple of fields that we're paid to play, but a lot of it's just open public land where you're allowed to play. Um, we have places all over Utah. That's the reason why I love it here, is because we got desert, we got forest, we got everywhere and in between. And I'm more of a woods ball forest player, right? My perfect world is forest mixed in with buildings, right? I'm not for the CQB indoor stuff, not my jam, but we do have that here. And yeah, we're fortunate that we have a lot of places to play as long as we take care of it. And that comes out to our Utah Airsoft community, which luckily we have a lot of good people involved right now that'll go out and pick up other people's trash and, keep the field clean. Because if we just let it go to waste, we're going to lose our fields, and that's what we don't want.
Yeah.
And so pack it in, pack it out type mentality. And luckily, for the most part, we're still having to educate some younger people about it. But take the trash with you, take care of the fields, because get something like Hobble Creek, you just never know when it's gone. And it
Yeah.
wasn't even our fault. We just got blamed because we look scary in our tactical gear, shooting plastic BBs at each other. So, yeah, it is what it is. I'm grateful that there's other places to play, and I'm grateful that I get to travel and play as well. So,
Yeah, and definitely what you're describing, different options of playing styles and locations, right? Even within the
right,
state, because you mentioned that you're not into like indoor CQB, but I'm kind of the same way. I don't
right,
like I like to be outdoors,
right.
and not just that. I would prefer if it's more of a wooden area, but unfortunately, I play at. Of course, it's not a bad thing. I mean, Fox Airsoft is a good field.
Yep,
I
I
love
played
their
there
staff. Yeah. The prison I like because it's kind of a mixture between long. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a mixture between long distance to close quarter combat,
for sure.
and you
That's a
have
good
that
mix
exposure from yeah, exactly. So I like that, and but I just wish they had the wooden area, right?
for sure. And
So
in Colorado, to me, I was talking to Grinch about this. Uh, Surprised that there's no forest woods ball out in Colorado. Like I lived in Colorado for a long time when I was younger. There's tons of forest options out there. I'm shocked still to this day that there's not a wood field in Colorado. I'm blown
yeah,
away that there's not. And even in Utah, we don't have a really designated field that's, pay as you come and play, like, for example, like Ballahack Airsoft. Okay. By far, if you ever get a chance to play there, do it. It's the best field that I've ever played at in my entire life. And I've played a lot of places. It's got buildings, it's in a forest and a swamp, and it's the perfect mixture of everything. But Utah needs it. Colorado needs it. Places that actually have these beautiful forest places need it. And I think it would take off like wildfire. It's just someone needs to just go jump
just
into the
do it.
pond and do it and do it. If I won the lottery, I would retire my job right now and I would go and open up an airsoft field in the mountains. So
Yeah.
if I win the lottery, you'll know. That's exactly what I would do. But
Well,
yeah, I'm
if
just
I'm happy to hear that. Matter of fact, if I win the lottery, I'll contact you and see if we can set up something.
perfect. Absolutely, let's do it. That'd
So,
be super fun.
yeah, I'm sure everyone in your local area would love that, and especially
100%.
in mine as well. But yeah, I'll just make a pledge right now. If I win the lottery, I'll contact you and we'll try to make
Sounds
something work.
good. Well, same here. If I win, I'll be reaching out to you. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, yeah,
That'd be
definitely.
fun.
All right, excellent. Well, I love your background here, and especially
Thank you.
what you're presenting on your wall. Feel
Thank
free
you.
to, if you're open to it, feel free to describe like what you have on
Yeah, for sure.
behind you.
Turn around here a little bit. So, I got all the patches for playing. You guys can see all the patches.
I have a
Um,
Grinch patch there too, I see.
got Grinch's patch here. He made a patch one. He got the measurements wrong, so it's huge, but it's an awesome patch. I love it. Love it, man. Grinch knows the backstory of that. He said, "Well, I got my patches," and he sent me this picture. It's bigger than his hand. So not a bad thing. It's pretty cool. He's got more that he just recently made, I think. And then just all the patches from playing these different events, patches that I see. I love patches. Got my SWAT competition patches that I've helped out with the SWAT competition here locally in Utah. And then of course I got my two replicas that are my babies, especially my sniper right here. This is my TAC 41 light sport. It
Yeah,
has
that's the one you were
become,
playing with on the video, it looked like.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is my favorite rifle. It's light, it shoots accurately, it's easy to use and manipulate. And then above it is a Novich SSR4. It's an AEG right now, but I'm planning to turn it into an MTW DMR silent type in the future. Like you, I'm going to buy one part at a time, and hopefully by the end of summer, middle of summer, it'll be ready. But I'm all about the bolt actions, and I got you guys can't probably see it. Let me tilt this up. I have an SSX 23 at the very top and a Tridose carbine kit, which if I
Nice.
can get some mags that will feed correctly, I'll start using that. But the standard mags that come with, they just jam all the time. It's not worth my use, unfortunately. Love how it shoots, but I can't handle the jamming. It gets me taken out too often than not.
No,
Um,
I don't blame you on there, but do what you can, and over time,
right,
that's the beauty about this hobby. I mean, you can actually
right,
start working on your stuff, right? So make
absolutely,
modifications and then go out and have fun.
absolutely. Well, I just got my suppressor right before the podcast. So if you see the suppressor right there from Silverback, it just arrived. It's got
Nice.
a 24 negative on there, so it's not a standard suppressor you're gonna find at a local shop. So luckily, Amped had it and got it in, and the UPS man just dropped it off right before our podcast. So
Oh, very cool. Well, did you
yeah,
hear the story of how I met the Grinch?
no, I know that you guys met at Flag Acres Farm, I think. Uh,
Over at Fox Airsoft, over at the prison map.
the prison
Yeah,
map, yeah, and I played there a little bit. I mean, I haven't played there since it's been redone, but I
yeah,
heard that and Spaz. I've heard a lot of good things about Spaz. I haven't met him. Actually, Grinch, him, and a bunch of his teammates are coming to Revolt at the end of this month, and we're gonna go play at the American Mill Sim. We're all squatted up, so it'll be nice to meet everybody.
yeah, definitely. They're a good bunch. I mean, every member of that squad, they're, as they say, unique personalities, but in a good way.
Love it.
So
Absolutely love it.
you'll definitely enjoy their company.
Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
how did you meet the Grinch? I've known Grinch a long time. Like I said, he's like my brother more than a friend. So
Well,
how'd you meet him?
it's really funny because in the beginning of 2024, I mean, just like you start watching YouTube videos to see what's out there, and
Mhm.
and also your local fields, right? So
Right.
his YouTube channel was one of the first ones that I actually started watching,
Awesome.
to basically analyze and see what type of gear he had, what type of style he was doing, the tactics involved, all that stuff. So I was taking some notes from that, and then after I was able to assess what I needed to get and to get my full gear as I'm wearing right now,
Nice.
um, and then went out to Fox Airsoft, played a few games, and of course, I was recording every single gameplay,
Right.
and I didn't know at the time, but I was engaging in exchanging kills with them quite often. So yeah, we would I'm not exactly like Spaz. Spaz likes to rush and he likes to exploit all the
I've
time.
I've heard
Yeah,
that.
me, I'm kind of a hybrid. I'm a little bit more cautious, but I also rush and exploit if I have the opportunity, if that makes sense. So it's
Yeah, that
standard
does.
tactics.
Sure.
So in this particular case, I would rush. Both me and him will kill each other out, and then there was other times when we were killing each other out on a little bit more mid combat range. So one day I posted a video, and not knowing it was him. And the first kill that I did in the video was the Grinch.
Oh, nice.
And Spaz, he came out and contacted me after the video was released and says, dude, that first guy that you took out, that's the Grinch. And I'm like, what? Seriously? He's like, yeah, you took the Grinch out. I'm like,
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
so when I identified exactly what his gear looked like, I checked on my video archive because it's pretty large, even for a year of
No,
gameplay, right? And I noticed that same guy I exchanged multiple times, and and it was him the whole time. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. One
Perfect.
of the first guys I subscribed on YouTube on Airsoft content, and I was playing alongside him, not even realizing it. And then, until Spaz pointed it out.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, and then we actually became good colleagues, and we did a co-op gameplay together.
Cool.
So he's a pretty good guy. And matter of fact, if you
Absolutely.
like, I could show you the exact video. I won't go into the
Oh
entire
yeah.
video to
Oh
bore
yeah.
you,
No,
but
no.
but
I got time. This is great. Yeah, go for it.
I'll show the exact video where um, I ran into the Grinch, or that Spaz identified as the Grinch.
Perfect.
So it's right about. Okay, here it is. Found it. So I'll share my screen.
Perfect. Well, nice.
All right. So this video, I mean, my editing style is a little bit different. You can see
I
the HUD
love the
effects up
HUD.
here. Yeah,
The
I
HUD's
have a
great.
version 2 coming out, so that should
Cool.
be coming out within the next week or so. But
Sweet.
I've updated a little bit. So let me go ahead and play, and I'll show you where I knocked out the Grinch.
Nice.
Oh, sorry, bud.
Nice. Love the intro.
Well, thank you. Appreciate the feedback on that. That's the
Uh,
Grinch.
there he is. Yep,
There
that's
he
him.
is.
I recognize that boonie hat anywhere.
So what I was doing is I saw him, so I rushed him and I did suppressive fire so he wouldn't peek out, and then on a slide or flank, I took him out. And when I published the video, Spaz immediately contacted me and said, "Dude, that's the Grinch." I'm like, "Oh my gosh,
That's
that's
awesome.
the Grinch." So after I figured out that it was him, me and him got into contact, and we we shared some funny stories, and we met up at that Fox Airsoft. I think the next game I went out on, and we played together. So he's a pretty good guy. I really love his gaming style, and
Absolutely.
also his personality. He's a good sport.
Absolutely. No, that we've been friends for, like I said, a long, long time, and he'll come crash on my couch at the end of the month, and we'll head up to AMS. But yeah, he's he's the type of guy that we know each other. We don't usually lose comms when we play. We just know how we work, and we work really, really well together. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
and that's the beauty of it. I mean, once you group up with others, I don't know how to explain this, but it's like you start to click and you know each other's maneuvers, patterns, the
Absolutely.
way of thought, tactics, all that stuff. And you
Hmm.
really start working together as a unit. So yeah, it's kind of another cool thing I love about Airsoft. I mean, once you
Yeah,
get your bearing with others and start working as a team,
yeah.
stuff like that starts developing.
The camaraderie is another awesome piece of it. Just hanging out with your friends and doing cool things together. It's great.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And of course, it expands. And a matter of fact, with our local group here, we have Christmas parties, get-togethers,
Perfect.
stuff that we do as a group that's outside of Airsoft, as well. So we just recently had a Christmas get-together, and that was pretty
Awesome.
cool. Yeah,
That's great. I think more teams should do that. I'm currently not a part of a team at the moment, but that's really, really cool that the team's doing that. That helps build things, definitely, if you guys are playing a lot and going to fields together.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And I'm happy to hear they're going to the Mill Sim later this month. I wish I can go, but
I was gonna say, you
unfortunately,
coming?
unfortunately, I cannot.
Gotcha.
Due to circumstances where I'm at, I can't.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm,
get
I'm
that
hoping that in the future they'll change. But
for sure.
one thing at a time. And then just like you, hopefully I'll have a decorative board on the wall
There you go.
and something to show off on. But
Yeah, it's
one piece
built
at a
up over
time.
time. Yeah, one piece at a time, built over time, and uh, this is 2008 to now. So a lot of years I collected stuff, and Now I need a new patch board. It goes all the way down behind my chair here too. So I'm out of
Nice.
space. And I'm sure when I go to American Meal Sim, I'll even get more. So we'll have to figure out where that goes.
Yeah, and hopefully some more gameplay for your channel.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do a kit test out. Like I've got gear slowly coming in. I'm hoping to play this upcoming Sunday. Um, somewhere, just even if it's a small game, just to play, get the cobwebs shaken out because I haven't played in 2.5 months.
2.5 months, yeah. I'm
Two and a
kind of
half
in the
months.
same boat because me, I don't know how to express this, but everyone has a different tolerance for weather patterns and stuff like
For
that,
sure.
right? So
Not much of a
so
winter guy.
I'm not much of a winter guy, but I'm perfectly fine in the heat. It's kind of
Right.
odd. So
Yeah.
it's because like even when it's like here in Colorado when it's like 90 to 95 degrees outside, I'm wearing this.
Right.
And everyone else is wearing shorts and no sleeves and but
I
I'm
get
wearing
that.
full gear and I am sweating, but
Right.
I don't know how to express it. It
You're
has that
comfortable.
realism to that rail
For
or that
sure. That's
realism
what
to it. Yeah.
absolutely. And that's part of the immersion, right? I'd rather do that. I like video games just like the next person, but I'd rather get out and play and do that than, sit on my couch.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely. So do you have like any how should I say kind of funny moments that's happened while you're playing in airsoft over the years?
Oh man, where to start? Um, I've I've had a couple of shots where I've hit people in the hand and dropped their rifles. I think that's probably my new favorite thing to do. Um, is if they're poking out and I hit them square in the hand, and I've seen them like drop their rifle.
Ah,
That's kind of been
geez.
funny. Um, I've had a guy get the drop on me, and he went to pull the gun a couple times, and his safety was still on. And he goes, "I got you," and I go, "Pull the trigger again." And he goes, "Oh, my safety's on."
Yeah,
Um,
I done that a few times
I've
until I
done it a few
modified.
times
Yeah, I modified it to where it wouldn't do that again.
for sure.
So
No, there's been so many good fun moments. You get the fun and the good with a little bit of the bad, which more fun than bad, thankfully. But me like pulling a pistol and not having a mag in, I've done that before. I should make a blooper video. I need to go back and find some of the stuff that, shot the tree instead of the guy, like aimed way too far down. Pulled the EG 67s.
yeah.
I don't think I caught it on film, but I went and played a game in Tennessee at a prison, and I went to throw it. And I pulled the pin, and I didn't throw it, and I blew myself up. I don't know what I was thinking. I was got to throw it, and I got ADHD moment, got focused on something else, and killed myself and two other guys because I didn't throw the grenade. And
And the funny thing is
that
that
was
happened
pretty
in the real
funny.
world too.
Yeah,
So
and luckily it was just airsoft, not real world. But I pulled the pin, and I was like, "All right," and then I got distracted, and then it blew up. I was like, "Oh, I can't believe I did that." So that was, I don't think I got it on camera, but that's probably the my biggest blunder, me personally, is playing. I don't know what I was thinking, but like I said, I think I got sidetracked and focused on something and just forgot to throw the grenade. So that was pretty funny.
Oh, that's
Uh,
hilarious. Yeah, I figured I asked because like the Spaz and even the Grinch, they had some funny moments as well and that I've seen. And even myself, I mean, there's even, getting back into the hobby for the past year, beginning of
right,
2024, I've already ran into several scenarios. I'm like thinking, did I just do that? Like for
right.
example, the safety thing. I ran into a full room of targets and I had the safety on and they all pointed their
Oh,
weapons at
geez.
me and I was like, okay, I give up. you
Right.
know, so I don't even bother
That'll
shooting me.
that'll happen. You'll bump
So
a mag release, and you're like, "Oh no,
yeah,
where'd my mag go?"
yeah. And
Uh,
then I had another incident where, and of course I, talk very briefly about my foot, where sometimes when I'm running and when you try to stop just like that,
right,
what normally happens is that both of your feet are in sync and you immediately apply pressure on both feet simultaneously, and that's what
right.
gets you to stop, right? And in my particular case, my right foot reacts like within a split of a second of a delay. So what
Gotcha. Okay.
sometimes happens is that when I'm running and sprinting and I try to stop, it because of the imbalance, one reacting quicker than the other, it shifts my momentum. I don't know how to describe it. It shifts my
Your momentum a
momentum.
little.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I end up sliding by accident.
Oh
And
shoot.
then
Okay.
so I got into a situation where that happened. I was sprinting and pushing up. And then at the last second, I knew there was a target right around the corner, and I tried to stop, and I couldn't because I lost balance and immediately started sliding. And when
Oh,
I
jeez.
slid around that corner. I knew he was still there, so I was pointing my rifle up. The guy was pointing his rifle down. We
Oh,
both
jeez.
fired at the same time. And because
Hmm.
of my angle, when I was firing up, I accidentally shot him right directly in the sensitive area.
Oh,
And then he
jeez.
shot me right here, right on the neck.
Oh,
So
man.
it's like,
What a
he
trade kill.
yeah, he felt it, so did I, and we both started laughing, and we just did a fist bump with each other. We both helped each other up. So
Oh, man.
things like that happen. So
Absolutely.
it's just crazy, crazy, crazy.
100%. Yeah, that's definitely airsoft for sure.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. Um, on your YouTube channel, um, tell me, is that like something that you do as a kind of a hobby that you do every single weekend? Is that something that you plan to expand in the future? Feel free to get into
For
that if you
sure.
want.
Yeah, that's my YouTube channel. I got a little goal board over here. I'm having fun with it. I mean, I would do this if I had one subscriber, right? But like just like you, I had a video editing background and did nothing but video editing in high school and college. And then when I was able to make my own films and put airsoft and the editing together, it's like the perfect blend, right? I am hoping to expand. I got another version of patches coming out, which I'll get to you when I get some. Some others will get some patches as well. And my goal is, to push as far as I can. I feel like at this point with my editing and what I know now, knowledge-wise, and when to put up the videos and understand the algorithm better, my goal is to get a play button. Like that's my Mount Everest. If I can get a YouTube play button, which I think is 100,000 subscribers, that'll be like, oh wow. I'll continue, obviously, right? Even if I don't get it till I'm 60, it's a goal to go for, right? Because a goal not written down is a goal not achieved, in my
Oh
opinion.
yeah,
So right now I'm sitting just under 3,000, and I feel like this 2025, especially when I got my thumbnails going, how my editing is going, I feel like I can compete with even some of the more popular ones. And I just wanted to see where I could take it and have fun with it. And if I can get into some people to get into ghillie airsoft sniping, then mission accomplished in my book.
oh,
I've had
excellent.
a couple of kids started doing ghillie sniping gameplay because they said they were watching my videos, and that makes me really happy. If
Yeah,
I
just
can
the fact
help,
that you're influencing others. Yeah,
yeah, if I can help other people to enjoy it and get them something to do, that's what it's about to me. I don't need to be famous or anything like that, or have my name plastered all over things. That's not who I am anyway. But I just want to see where I could take it and push it that way. And my goal with my channel is to make you feel like you're in the all gillied up mission from Modern Warfare. If you remember that mission or that played that game,
yeah.
I want you to feel like every time you watch one of my videos, that's what you're going through. Obviously, I'll throw in some humor with it, and every now and then, you'll get the mixed odd ends of the gameplay. But that's my goal: is to have fun, make content, see where I can build my channel. If it's brick by brick, that's totally fine. And I just appreciate people's support, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, and I'm happy to see that because like you never know who that might inspire, and you never know like where that may lead, right? So
Right.
even one of our previous conversations earlier this episode, I mentioned how I was watching The Grinch before I even bought my gear,
Right.
and then because of us being inspired from his YouTube channel and others, ended up creating or helping me progress in the hobby.
For
So
sure.
that's pretty cool to see for sure. And in my
It,
case, I have a similar story. I really don't care if I get famous or not. Matter of fact, I'm not even focusing on that. It's
right.
just me. I just want to show what's there, right?
Right.
And
100%.
there's a lot of YouTubers out there that likes to focus on the bad things, and
Yeah.
that's especially in airsoft. There's a lot of those channels that just focus on the bad things, and
Right.
I don't like that. I don't like channels that promote that. I just want to encourage others to get into the hobby. And
For sure.
that's it. So
100%. Obviously there's bad in any type of hobby or sport, right? But I like to try to mainly focus on the good. I think have 412 videos. I think two of them have the cheater title in it. And
Yeah,
that was
very
because
small
it was
percentage.
very small percentage, but it was clear as day and it was so bad. I was like, all right, I gotta just film and tell people what happened that day. Most of the time, if I hit someone, I'm like, oh, it's a boss battle. I'll just keep shooting them until they put their hand up. And and as a sniper, it can get to the point where you get frustrated. Especially if you hit someone in the play carrier, you hit them and they run away. And it's like, oh man, I crawled for 15 minutes to get that shot, and then you ran and hid behind a tree. So, I usually am very, very kind the first shot. And if you don't take that first one, the second one may be a little bit more in sensitive areas.
Yeah,
And,
so it
and
forces them to
that's,
react.
it forces them to react. And, all shots are part of airsoft. That's why they have all the gear that you can wear, especially the face and the head. There's no excuse for people not to protect their teeth. That's just cheap, right?
Yeah,
There's a lot of face pro out there. People should probably invest in it. And if you don't, that's your fault, right?
yeah.
That's just the way
Well,
I view it.
I know that personally because on my first game, of course, I had mesh here. You can't see
Right.
it on my thumbnails, but I do have fabric over my face. But
I
within the
gotcha.
fabric, I have a custom mesh inside, so you can't see it.
Gotcha.
And I was testing it on my first game in Fox Airsoft, and guess what? On my first match, someone shot me point blank
Oh
right
yeah.
there.
Oh
And
yeah.
I was thinking, is this thing gonna hold? And then, of course, coincidentally, on that first game, pop, and then I was like, well, it's working.
Yeah.
I
It's got
guess
all
that's
my
a good
teeth.
thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. People
So,
don't realize you can lose your teeth really well. And
yeah, and it has happened even with our own group here. We had individuals where their teeth has been chipped more
right,
so than others.
right,
I mean, it's very sad to see, but I mean, things happen, and luckily there wasn't more damage, and luckily they were able to repair the tooth. So,
right.
within a few days after they were able to get an appointment, you couldn't even tell the chip or the tooth was chipped at all. So
Yeah.
that's
No.
pretty cool.
Yeah. Unfortunately for the guy I shot at Flatacre's farm, I did end up taking his tooth, his bottom tooth got shot out by me.
Uh,
I think it's in one of my videos, but I hit him in the play carrier and he went like this. And he had a balaclava on. And I said, okay, dude. So I was aiming for the neck, but he ducked at the wrong time. And yeah, he lost his tooth that day.
geez.
So that's unfortunate. It does happen. But like I said, there's tons of options for you out there to
Yeah, that it's
cut,
highly important you
protect your
have the
face.
protection on. Yeah,
And obviously, if they're not wearing eye pro, I won't take that shot. Right?
yeah.
Don't want to intentionally injure anyone. That's not the goal. If once the goal is to go shoot BBs and get all the stress relief out and then go home happy, right?
No,
That's the goal home. I mean, you go home tired and happy in my case. It takes me a day to recover afterwards, but
yeah,
that's how it should be. It should be fun,
yeah,
and
yeah. It should be
that's
because at the end of the day, or end of the day, it's just a game.
it is just a
And
game. No one's winning prizes. You're not going home with a medal for the toughest warrior of airsoft or
yeah,
anything like that. No one cares what your KD is or none of that stuff. It doesn't matter.
oh
It's
yeah,
just a game.
definitely. And I even mentioned this in previous episodes yeah, does happen. People don't call their hits,
Mhm.
but most of the time, at least in my experience, at least where I'm at, most of the time it's not intentional.
Right,
But you do have those that don't care, and you can clearly tell that they were hit.
right,
And in my videos, I don't title it cheaters. In my videos, I just play, gameplay and whatnot. But even within
right,
my gameplay, there are scenes, very short scenes, where people are not taking their hits, but I don't
right,
promote it. What I do is I just simply say, hey, this happens in airsoft. It's okay. This, at the end of the day, we're just all here to have fun.
right.
And that's how I word it. It's basically not directing to a negative, but just show the reality of it. And at the end of the day, it's all about having fun. And
100%.
so,
That's how it should be. At the end of the day, everyone should be having fun and hopefully learn a thing or two. I know I learn every time I go out and play. And that's why I like to film. That's because all these cool things are happening, and so I want to show people what my day was like, or at least a brief part of it. Obviously, there's a lot of trimmed down. No one wants to see me crawl for 15 minutes in a video, right? So that obviously it's trimmed
yeah.
down, and no one wants to see me, waiting there for 10, 15 minutes for something to get into
Oh yeah.
position. Yeah,
Yeah,
no one wants to
definitely.
see that.
Definitely.
So,
I do the same thing. My mind, after it's pre-selected, and I try to keep it in a shortened time frame. And then
Right.
after that frame or that instance is over, I transition to another. So it's yeah, I do the same thing. I try to keep the audience just like you intrigued, and
For
that's
sure.
in part why I love some of your content because um, you try to keep the audience into the moment, right?
Thank you.
And especially with some of your editing, it like oh my gosh, like those voice overlays you were doing. I'm like, yeah, that's definitely sounds like a game from a video game, and that's
For sure.
something that,
Thank you.
on the theme of how you're directing this. It's definitely worth watching for sure.
I appreciate it. I just try to make it fun, short and sweet, throw in the little, like I said, the Call of Duty voiceovers, the music, and people, I don't think quite understand the level or how long that takes.
Yeah.
You do. I'm saying anyone who makes content does, but I've gone to the point now where I'm even matching audio from one camera. And I think that if I was going to give anyone any advice, especially when they're running a scope camera, use your GoPro or your head cam audio for everything. It sounds better, it's cleaner, it's better for your audience to listen to. And the microphone is going to be on your head is going to be your best audio. It's a pain, it takes a long time. People don't realize when I'm shooting my sniper rifle, I'm syncing up the audio from the GoPro and adding it to the scope cam, then adding the scope cam overlay, moving the scope cam, adding the sound effect, adding the hit marker, and that's all in one clip. And then not even mentioning that I'm color coordinating the footage now to make sure
Yeah,
all the footage is streamlined that way.
yeah,
And then rendering it and going through it again. So that would
oh
be
yeah,
my advice. If you're gonna edit, if you can, and I know it's a pain, use one audio from your head cam for all of your cameras.
yeah,
It'll
yeah.
make
That's
your
good advice. Good
it's
advice.
it's it's not easy and it takes a really long time, but it's good for the viewer, especially if you have headphones on. Um, my older videos, I was viewing them the last couple of weeks, and I was like, man, the audio's terrible.
Yeah,
But
but that's
this
the
year,
beauty of it is that
it's you just see the improvement
you're identifying the improvements, and it's progressing.
for
You
sure.
know, yeah. Mine with my channel, I'm doing the same thing. If you
Mhm.
saw like not the podcast episodes, but if you focus on just the gameplay, when I first
Right.
started posting that to now, you could see where it's
Oh,
gradually getting
absolutely.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's what it is. It's just slowly making progress, right? And like I
yeah,
said earlier in the podcast, now I'm at the point where, all right, now I can compete with the big boys, quote unquote, right? So about getting the footage out there because YouTube's a big black rabbit hole, right? Where it could get lost in translation. But I'm looking at, some of the bigger YouTubers and my videos. I'm like, I could compete with them. No problem. I just got to get it out there. And that's another part of why I do content creation is to be like, hey man, maybe this video sends me viral. Who knows? And if it doesn't, it's got 2 views. I don't care. I had fun making it. I had fun playing that day.
oh
But
yeah,
it's a deck of cards. You never know what you're gonna get. And like I said, I've been playing since, early 2000s. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. It's too much fun. It's
well,
way too much fun.
I agree with that, and I'm hoping that I'll stay into this for a while. So
Oh, good.
it's definitely got me intrigued, and I'm enjoying the community out of this because not sure if the Grinch told you or not, but I had an incident where my foot failed on at the field,
Oh,
and
yes.
I had someone drag me off the off the
Of the
field.
field.
It was incredibly embarrassing because again it was on the foot that had surgery, so it was getting
Yeah.
better. It's just I pushed it too hard, and
Just quit on you.
it just like no more.
Jeez. Yeah.
So so
Happens.
it happens, and of course, that only occurred in that one instance there. Um, and the staff was very supportive. The community was very supportive. I had people coming up to me asking if I was doing okay, even days after.
Good.
And of course, the foot has fully recovered from that incident,
Good.
and I'm still pushing it. But even with all that disadvantage, just the part of the community willing to help you out. That's what's the goal of all this. That's what I really enjoy.
For sure. Well, that was just, people like you bringing us on for podcast gives us an extra platform as well. And hearing everyone's stories. I know I've been listening to your podcast at work and hearing everyone's backgrounds. And again, what you're doing is helping you and E-Rock. I know we've mentioned E-Rock before on the podcast with Trifecta as well. It just helps especially smaller YouTubers like myself to, get our word out there, get our films out there, and hopefully we can all grow as a community. And I've been to Fox a handful of times in the Flat Acres Farm and always had a good time. Never was treated poorly. I think that one cheater incident, and that was it. Yeah. And I've always enjoyed myself when I've gone out there.
Yeah, and same here. And hopefully as time goes on, it will have a bigger community, bigger
For
audience,
sure.
and just go from there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And like you said, podcasts like this, or even content, even from your channel, that helps bring in the next generation. I
For
mean,
sure.
I totally see that. So it's really cool for what you're doing. So keep it up.
Thank you.
And especially with some of your video editing styles, it's just, even though I only showed you one video, there's, this is for the audience. Go check out his
Oh, yeah.
channel. It's
Thank you.
pretty cool. And you'll definitely, if you're into like sniper or ghillie or anything like that, definitely look into this content.
Thank you.
So
I appreciate it.
yeah, definitely. All right. Well, awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I really enjoyed the conversations we had, and if you're open to it, I'd like to invite you to another episode or a future discussion on this podcast,
Absolutely.
and just go from there. And of course, the topic could be anything you would like to bring up, like the mil sims or a
Absolutely.
new type of gear that you got in. I mean, feel free to let me know, and we can have that scheduled.
Absolutely. No, I'd love to come on anytime, talk airsoft or whatever brings up. Let's do it.
All right, excellent. Well, thanks again, and again for the audience, go check up his material, his Kfactor. Let me get the exact name so people can look you up.
You.
Matter of fact, let me just share the screen so people can see it real quick.
Thank you.
Let's go right here. Yep, go check out Kfactor 39.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Pretty cool stuff.
Got Instagram too. I'll post a lot of behind the scenes stuff and little teaser clips of videos upcoming on there. Try to do the YouTube shorts as well, but I don't like to give away too much of the footage there to keep people kind of guessing. So yeah,
Yeah, it's always kind of, how should I say, you give them a little bit of a carrot, but don't give
right.
up the whole thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Dangle the carrot and come get it for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
All right, awesome. Well, thanks again, man. You have a good night, and stay safe, and we'll talk later.
sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye.